Recently, a transgender swimmer on the women's team at U Penn, who competed on the men's team the previous 3 seasons, absolutely destroyed her competition at the Akron Zippy Invitational Swim Meet. I wonder why. How much did she dominate her competition by? Well, we'll get to that in a moment, but it was a lot. By obliterating her competition, the women's swimmer is inspiring female athletes everywhere to know that they'll never amount to anything unless they used to have testicles. How did this swimmer, named Leah Thomas, destroy her competition so easily? Well, scientifically speaking, she's just a woman who swims much faster than all other women. Let's take a look at the details. The Daily Wire reports that Leah Thomas, who used to go by the name Will Thomas for some reason, won the 200 freestyle by 7 seconds, the 500 freestyle by 12 seconds, and the 1650 by 38 seconds. Now, if you're like everyone else in the world and therefore don't inherently give a about swimming, then you should know those are astronomically large margins of victory. Some would say impossibly large margins of victory. Sounds like I have the Omicron. Am I statistically dead yet? Is it politically incorrect of me to still feel alive? Sorry. Moving forward, Leah leaves the meet with the nation's top times in all 3 events. And that's not the only meet she's left behind. And in all 3 events, Leah set U Penn records, meet records, and pool records. This just in! I think I'm menstruating now. It's just pee. When am I gonna get my cycle? I have so much shame that my body doesn't work the way I'm told it's supposed to. Why was Leah's competition so lousy? Well, we don't know, but clearly the women's empower movement should be embarrassed, as the world has now found out that most female athletes are nothing compared to Leah. Instead of being so terrible, maybe these lazy women should just try harder, like Leah does. And luckily for female athletes, instead of having the poor example of biological women to look up to, they have Leah to look up to, and to potentially be looked at by in the locker room. But unfortunately, it's not all joy and celebration for this record-setting performance. Some right-wing conspiracy theorists who tout their lunatic, racist ideas like men are different than women don't think it's fair that Leah's allowed to compete against women. And Leah's teammates are shockingly not on the bandwagon of celebrating how they've been dominated by a biological male in women's competition. As one teammate anonymously shared with Outkick, pretty much everyone individually has spoken to our coaches about not liking this. I think secretly everyone just knows it's the wrong thing to do. She continues, when the whole team is together, we have to be like, oh my gosh, go Leah, that's great, you're amazing. It's very fake, she said. This woman, who's oddly swimming on the women's team for some reason, shared all this anonymously, fearing it would be hard for her to find employment after college if she was open and honest with her opinion. That's of course a testament to how warm and accepting the super tolerant left is with absolutely everything aside from 100% of the things they don't like. Moving along, the conspiracy theory field known as science reports that men can have up to 18 times more testosterone naturally occurring in their bodies than women. That's the primary hormone responsible for muscle growth and strength. Kinda helpful for swimming a lot faster than your competition. It's suspected that the scientist who brings this hateful hormonal information forward, which is based on objective truth, is none other than Kyle Rittenhouse. Because this information is non-inclusive of the fact that in spite of people's vast differences, all people are exactly the same. To acknowledge any differences would be both hateful and intelligent. And now a word from our sponsors. China and Russia swear by Marxism. Leader of the Chinese Communist Party, Xi Jinping, has this to say. Without using Marxism to destroy the minds of Americans, it would be hard to take over their country. But with the help of Marxism, we get them divided against each other, fighting about things like whether men can menstruate. And are there any differences between men and women? The genocidal leader goes on to say, Getting a nation full of intelligent people to disbelieve in objective truth turns them into morons that are easier to control. Thanks, Marxism. Marxism can work for you. Don't believe me? Well, just ask Marxists like AOC, the Biden administration, and the BLM founders who embezzle money from charitable funds while accepting honest donations from dishonest Marxists like George Soros. All you have to do is stop thinking for yourself, and Marxism will start working against you while you think it's working for you. Identity politics is part of Marxism. Marxism. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. This just in! If you can define the difference between a man and a woman faster than 9 long, rambling, run-on sentences that contain no logic, then at a genetic level, you are transphobic and certainly not a victim of Marxism. In conclusion to tonight's inspirational story of a biological man destroying biological women in competition, we can ask this question. Is it possible to love and accept transgender people while at the same time upholding the sanctity of women and women's sports? Answer: absolutely not. It would be wrong and uninclusive to acknowledge any factual differences while just loving and accepting people for who they are. Just ask the state of California, who refuses to acknowledge any differences, as now they put anyone into women's prisons who simply says, "I'm a woman." No questions asked. And now women are getting raped and impregnated by these same female inmates, all in the name of inclusivity, refusing to acknowledge any differences, and refusing to uphold the sanctity of women. And for all of us who have been indoctrinated into Marxism, we wish this swimmer well as she goes into the future and hope that a woman somewhere can step up and be her competitive equal. And if they can't hack it, maybe they should just hang up their suits and get back in the kitchen where they belong and let women who used to be men step in and do the job better than they ever could. Right, inclusivity movement? That's it for tonight's special Testicleless Report. Tune in tomorrow for more Marxism disguised as news as we dismantle the objective truth of mathematics, as new discoveries are showing that math is rooted in systemic racism. Good night. Are you a communist? If so, there's nothing that you'll like in my Freedom line of merch. But if you're a freedom lover and love to spread the freedom vibes, you might like what you see in my shop at awakenwithjp.com. Check it out. I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Blue Blocks. Now, when Blue Blocks isn't protecting me from the harmful effects of blue light, it's giving me the benefits of red light therapy. A few of the reasons why red light therapy has earned its place in my biohacking routine is to help me speed recovery from injuries, have anti-aging effects on my skin, reduce pain and reduce inflammation while boosting my cellular energy. The Blue Box Hive red light therapy devices offer top-of-the-line red light and infrared light therapy. I use the Hive Mini for spot treatment on injuries like my surgically repaired torn patella tendon, and I use the Hive Max for full body treatments. There's a reason why red light therapy has earned its place on the Mount Rushmore of the biohacking community. That's because it works through scientifically peer-reviewed studies. I'm always looking for upgrades on how I can feel and function my best, and red light therapy helps me do just that. If you want to check out the Blue Box Hive red light therapy devices, along with Blue Box's full suite of blue light blocking glasses, just go to bluebox.com/JP. And be sure to use a discount code JP to get 15% off.